I'd never really known what I thought of the first Kick-Ass movie. It was fun and funny for the most part, the characters were fairly well realised, and it had a really funny concept from the get-go. People that just throw on costumes and actually try to be superheroes despite the lack of superpowers or training. But the tone has always been somewhat lost on me. It's a comedic, light-hearted, violent, gritty, superhero, kinda self-parody drama. I loved the concept and I always got excited when he actually did try and be a superhero and fight some criminals, but I found the drama in the film to be really jarring, and because the violence is exaggerated, suddenly it stopped being funny and became slightly mean-spirited and, truth be told, quite disturbing. However, on the whole, I found the main characters to be both compelling and fun to watch. My overall opinion of Kick-Ass was that it was a good film. Not amazing, nothing life-changing, but good. For ages I've felt like it got a lot of its praise for its shock factor. An 11-year-old saying the C word? This movie's awesome! And I too found that stuff cool and edgy, but that's not really enough to carry the entire movie for me. There are a few laugh out loud moments, and I don't know why Dave getting hit by a car after being stabbed makes me laugh so much, but the standout was always the comedy behind the wannabe superhero concept and Hit Girl, and I'm glad that Kick-Ass 2 doesn't do what I feared it would, be entirely about Hit Girl and forget the title character, Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass 2 I think actually improves on the first film. It feels more mature and the characters more real. It's certainly a fun movie and I very much enjoyed watching it. Like the first, it's very funny, its laugh out loud moments coming mainly from Chris D'Amico, aka the motherfucker, and the absurdity of all these heroes and villains. My favourite character in the film being Colonel Stars and Stripes. And while I'm on that, I'm starting to think that I really like Jim Carrey. I can see why he gets the typical crazy annoying status such as Adam Sandler, only the difference is that Adam Sandler acts like a dick in all his movies and he's actually not very funny. Carrey keeps surprising me with his range. He can make me laugh out loud in Mask, but then bring me to tears in either The Truman Show or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Take your pick, they're both excellent movies. So it seems fitting here that in Kick-Ass 2 he once again surprises with being in a superhero movie where his character is supposed to be funny and he's not doing the over-the-top I'm Jim Carrey thing, but actually delivers a really convincing performance as a mafia leg breaker turned born-again Christian who beats the shit out of crooks and doesn't use the Lord's name in vain. You cannot typecast this guy anymore. The Kick-Ass films so far have done great jobs in casting that one big name per film that is such an off-the-wall actor that it makes it funny from the get-go, but also surprises in actually giving us more than just Nick Cage being Nick Cage and Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. The most fun parts of the movie are definitely any scenes to do with a Justice Forever team involving Kick-Ass, Colonel Stars and Stripes, Dr. Gravity, Battle Guy, Arse Kicker, Remembering Tommy, Night Bitch and Insect Man to name a few. The entire team is both hilarious and fun to watch, and I hope they all return for Kick-Ass 3. Chloe Grace Moretz returns as Hit Girl, now supposedly 15 years old, as part of the movie revolves around her trying to give up the superhero gig and lead a normal life, and essentially make up for the childhood she missed out on due to Big Daddy. Insert Mean Girls sequence here. Yeah, unfortunately we have to sit through quite a bit of painfully familiar Mean Girls sequences as we get the three bitchy girls taking the innocent new girl and making her into their own image. We even get the scenes in the girls' bedroom and the canteen. How does the film get away with this? Hit Girl, plain and simple. Yeah, the movie manages to get away with this, because Hit Girl doesn't let anyone get the better of her, and even if she's knocked down, she'll kick your ass before you can even laugh about it. Mindy McCready serves as the relatable teen angst character this time round as opposed to Dave in discovering her true self, whereas Dave goes through all the more fun and silly stuff with the Justice Forever team, but also going through an arc in learning what it means to be a superhero. The action all around is great, and the violence is indeed extreme but welcomed. As for the aforementioned shock factor that came along with the first film, Kick-Ass 2 hasn't let that aspect go to its head. It knows that the shock factor is not what made the first film a rousing success, and thankfully doesn't try to outdo its predecessor by making everything more violent and the language even dirtier. While the action sequences improve on the first film with its bigger budget and wider range of characters, it's not trying to be a bigger version of it. It's got a different story with characters that are a little more mature, and the film as a whole helps expand the universe set up in Kick-Ass 1. The problems in the film luckily are few and far between. Dave's love interest from the first film gets the Cyclops treatment. She shows up at the beginning for practically a cameo and is never seen again for the rest of the film. And in those 20 seconds, she's almost a completely different character from Kick-Ass 1. She seemed almost bitchy here. The writers made it painfully obvious that they didn't know what to do with her character. There's also a little repetition in terms of narrative. The drama that kicks off in the first film, leading us into the characters being at their lowest point in the movie, would have been exactly the same here if it weren't for a simple character swap. It's done differently, but you'll probably pick up on it if you watch these two films back to back. For some reason, the drama in the film didn't feel so jarring and was actually well executed here, and it didn't feel out of place. Perhaps it's got something to do with me now knowing what kind of films these are, and I just need to give the first one another watch, but it certainly worked here.
Try to have fun. Otherwise, what's the point?
You heard it first from Colonel Stars and Stripes. The best thing about Kick-Ass 2 is how much fun it is as a whole. It's incredibly refreshing to see a light-hearted, upbeat superhero movie nowadays with wit, some heart, and engaging characters. And it's a nice change from the other recent superhero flicks we've had this year. I mean, yeah, I like the Wolverine, but you gotta admit, even that was a bit downbeat. If you like the first film, you'll undoubtedly like this one too. I myself think this is actually a little better. Go see it. Cheers for watching, guys, and as always, if you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel.